Hello and happy day, everybody. So let's just jump into this for a quick little commuting crypto talk. I've had a few of you guys reach out, both to me personally, and I've already seen a little bit on Twitter about the announcement of a likely base coin, right? And more so, a lot of FUD or hesitancy, concerns about will this base coin affect Aerodrome Finance negatively? Because Coinbase has never had a coin. They've actually been quite adamant that there never will be a base coin. And then they come out and kind of say, gotcha, right? And Aerodrome was always the kind of unofficial base coin, right? A lot of us, me included, has even kind of said that if you want the most into base, the closest thing to a base coin is Aerodrome. So understandable that there's some current concern about will this base coin, I'm just going to keep calling it base coin, will it take away and pull anything from Aerodrome? So what I want to go over briefly in this video is what we know, and then the options that I think are realistic, and then what I actually think is going to happen. So let's hop right into it. So with the base coin, what do we know? Not much. We actually know almost nothing, which is probably where a lot of the fear is coming from, right? What we know is that there will likely be a base coin, and they state that they're in early development for it. All right, right there, I am not concerned about Aerodrome for this cycle, right? Because if they're in early development, and I'm under the belief that this cycle is going to go another 2 to 5 months, give or take. If they're in the early development of making this coin, even if it was the full anti-Aerodrome, full Aero killer, which there's no reason for them to do that, I still don't think it would affect Aerodrome this cycle, because it really strong chance it's not going to be released this cycle, right? Maybe mid-end 2026. Granted, they could jumpstart everything and tell us next week otherwise, but with something large, like base coin would be a large coin, they're going to spend time to go ahead and get investors, and there will be people chucking money left and right at this coin, no matter what it's used for. So they're going to spend the time to build it up properly, and that way it can be released as a multi-billion-dollar coin. Very confident that's what they're going to do, because other layer 2s that have done similar things, well, they've done similar things. Look at Linea recently. It did almost the same thing. Waited for a while, got a bunch of funding, and then timed it for a release. So, but that's my thought. Not going to make a difference on Aero. But let's just go ahead and play the game of what if that's wrong and they rush it out. Okay. In that case, it all comes down to what are they going to use the base coin for? We don't know. Odds are they're not going to do something to shoot themselves in the foot, because Aerodrome is one of Base's largest money makers, and they're not going to want to purposely stifle that. But it still comes down to what the heck will this base coin be used for, and would we be interested? Strong likelihoods is it could just be used as a governance token, which if that's the case, I don't give a rat's ass about it. It will not touch Aerodrome, and it won't be really something I'll be interested in. But if you're not familiar with governance tokens, there's a lot of them out there that they're pretty much, you hold them, you can stake them, you use them to get the right to help give your opinion on what's going to happen with the crypto and the direction of the company. All right. If that happens, don't care. Something a little bit more realistic, in my opinion. I guess not realistic. Governance is possible. But as if it's an incentives or reward coin, specifically for developers, right? There's been a lot of ecosystems that they will make reward or incentive tokens to give out to investors or developers just to start building on the ecosystem, right? So, I mean, if they wanted to attract more dApps and everything onto Base, they could make this reward token to encourage people to build upon Base. And that wouldn't be a bad idea. It give them something for investors to invest into, which would bring in TVL. It would give a reason for even more developers to build on Base as opposed to any of the other layer 2s or layer 1s for that matter. And that one's a strong possibility. And if that's the case, it also would not affect Aerodrome, not short term or long term. So I guess I'll interject myself, and I'm in the mindset of thinking about for the short term, meaning the end of the cycle. If you're a long-term Aero holder, then it makes a little bit difference longer down the road. But again, back to earlier points of, I doubt they're going to purposefully tank Aerodrome just to make their own coin. Another possibility is the base coin could be used as a utility function on base for different things, such as maybe for transferring on Coinbase to other ecosystems, pretty much as a bridging and gas fees thing. I could see that making sense for them because in this case, they can, instead of just collecting USDC or fiat, the little fees associated with buying, selling, or trading Coinbase to other ecosystems, to your bank, etc., they could use this base coin for that. And it also would not affect Aerodrome, and that would bring in more money directly into the base ecosystem using the base coin as opposed to a stable coin. So I see that also as a strong possibility that will not short or long term affect Aerodrome. Now is my guess, right? This is the one that I think is going to happen, and that doesn't mean jack shit, it's just my opinion, right? Is how Aerodrome does the buying, selling, trading fees, etc. on Aerodrome Finance. I'm thinking base might do the exact same, the base coin might do the exact same thing for the upgraded aspects of Coinbase Alpha, Coinbase Business, whatever we're calling it right now. To update you on that, what I mean is that like they are opening up Coinbase Business soon, but where other large businesses can hop on base ecosystem, buy, sell, and trade certain stocks and crypto. They can also pay invoices for their business on it. They can pay their employees on it. JP Morgan dropped a bunch of stable coins onto it, presumably for this purpose. So what they could do is use the base coin as Aerodrome, but for the industrial business side, and keep Aerodrome on Aerodrome Finance for retail, so to speak, and use the base coin for all the fees for trading and everything on the corporate side, for buying, selling, trading on that aspect of Coinbase app. And they could also do it then for, okay, you collect fees every time a company uses base for paying their employees or paying an invoice. And that makes a lot of sense to me too, because then you can do the same thing with your two large demographics, retail and corporation. Keep them separate so that way when corporation fees and everything is going up, it doesn't fuck with retail's prices hopping into the crypto. And so that's kind of what I'm suspect they're going to do. Granted, that could be way off. We don't have any information yet. But my whole point being for it is, short term for this bull run, I've got no fears about base coin with Aero because I don't think it's going to be released in time. And there are very few things it could do that would actually get in the way of Aero. Long term, I'll keep an eye on it because I definitely have Aerodrome on my radar for a bear market pickup to go heavily into it down the road in the future, which if I'm wrong and base coin gets in the way of slowing down Aero, maybe I'll change it. But there's no fear on my part, but let me know what you guys think. Have you heard about the new base coin? Does it give you fear? Do you get excited? Or are you just waiting to see what the hell happens in the market for the next few months regardless? Let me know down in the comments below. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Peace.